Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. How y'all doing today? So today I want to kind of dive into something deep, um, because the Messiah warns us that the end of days will be like the days of Noah, and I think a lot of times we kind of don't reflect. A lot of times, a lot of people stay in the New Testament, which is fine, but when we get warnings, we need to take heed to those warnings. And so he says the end of days will be like the days of Noah. Well, what does that mean? Um, like the days of Noah. What was going on in the days of Noah that would kind of give us an understanding of the end times of today, right? So um, I kind of, in that avenue, I wrote my own little comprehensive understanding that a part of this days of Noah, or the days of Noah, what was going on, and kind of tying it into maybe some of the things that's been taking place all the way back then, all the way leading up to now. And this piece that I wrote is called The Remnant. So I'm going to read it to you. There is a war that's going on, not just in the heavens, but also here on earth. It's a battle of the bloodlines, the bloodline of Satan and the righteous bloodline of Adam. It began when Yahuwah Elohim told Satan that he would put enmity between him, Satan, and the woman Eve, Hawa, and his seed and her seed. Genesis chapter 3, verses 15. We know that her seed alludes to the birth of the Messiah, and therefore a holy seed had to be established for this prophecy to come to pass. This holy seed starts with the birth of Adam and Eve's third son, Seth, and is referred to periodically throughout Scripture. In Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 6, Yahuwah, referring to the Israelites, says, "For you are a holy people to Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth." In Ezra chapter 9, verses 2, it reads, "For they have taken some of their daughters as wives for themselves and their sons, so that the holy seed is mixed with the peoples of those lands." Yahuwah says that I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn to my servant David, your seed I will establish forever and build up your throne to all generations. Psalms chapter 89, 3 through 4. So obviously this seed, the seed had to be saved to ensure the birth of the Messiah, correct? Right? So we're not just talking about some heavenly, spooky. No, we're talking about genetics here. And that obviously there was some genetic engineering going on in the days of Noah, just like there is today. There was some genetic engineering, or something happened to the seed to where there had to be a seed saved to ensure the birth of the Messiah, right? In verse 29, Yahuwah says, "His seed also I will make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven." Again, in verse 36, he says, "His seed shall endure forever, as his throne as the sun before me." Of course, there's the covenant established with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but the above scripture should solidify the point of a holy seed. So so a lot of people think, "Oh, you're chosen because you're better." No, there's no chosen being greater or than anybody. No, no, we're talking about genetic survival to ensure prophecy being fulfilled, correct now. But this holy seed just didn't stop at the birth of the Messiah. Why? Because in Revelation chapter 3, verses 4, 3 through 3, my bad. Because in Revelation chapter 7, 3 through 4, the angel of Yahuwah says, "Do not harm the earth, the sea, or the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim on their foreheads." And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel were sealed. This tells us a couple of things. One, the holy seed is still here. Two, this prophecy hasn't happened. Yet, furthermore, in Revelation chapter 14, verses 1, it says, Then I looked, and behold, a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads. Then in verse 3 through 5, it reads, No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to Elohim and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no deceit, for they are without fault, because the throne of Elohim. This lets us know that these 144,000 is born from the holy seed of men. These 144,000 is not coming from the heavens. These 144,000 is not coming from out of the earth. These 144,000 are born from men. Therefore, there had to be a seed left for these 144,000 to be born. This goes back to the beginning. So what about Satan's seed? Again, we return to the beginning in Genesis chapter 3, verses 15, where Yahuwah alludes to Satan's seed when we also know Satan and his fallen ones had sex with the daughters of men and produced the Nephilim, Genesis chapter 6. These Nephilim continues throughout Scripture under the names of the Anakim and the Rephaim, and of course the Philistines and Goliath. Satan's seed obviously infiltrated man as well, possibly through the offspring of Cain, and continued with the attempt to stop prophecy by the attempt of killing Moses. Okay, so what I'm saying is that Satan's seed obviously somehow, I don't know specifics, but we know men attempted to stop prophecy. One of those ways was the attempt to kill Moses. You can find that in Exodus chapter 1, verses 15 through 16 and verse 22. So we know that prophecy again was being attempted to be stopped from the killing of Moses. Right? And the Messiah, Matthew chapter 2, verses 16. When Joseph went to Egypt, he got rid of Herod. They knew there was a birth of a Messiah. He was like, nah, this is the second attempt. First it was Moses, then it was the Messiah. Herod tried to stop the birth of the Messiah, so he went around and killed all the young men, all the young males from 2 and under. That was the second attempt. So obviously there's a beef in blood and genetics here. Obviously there's certain people on this earth that certain people don't want to be born. We know this from Scripture. It's what I'm saying. Think about this. So now there's some future children going to be born too. So you think all this, man, listen. This attempt of stopping prophecy continues up into our times by Satan, trying to kill the offspring bloodline of the righteous. Revelation chapter 12, verses 17, what I just mentioned. Which obviously points towards the 144,000, since throughout history, the attempt was made on the children of Moses and Yeshua. And since the 144,000 will be born of Israel, and the above prophets was of that same seed, it would seem the same objective is the plan. Since Satan wants to sit on the throne of Elohim, Isaiah chapter 14, 12 through 14, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 through 4, the 144,000 is a threat to his plan. The 144,000 is a threat to Satan's plan. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to change the DNA and the genetics of man to stop the holy children from being born. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that through the air, through the food, through the water, through certain things that you get in your body. You thought this was a game. No, this is deep. It would seem the same objective as the plan, since Satan wants to sit on the throne. Satan's seed is also alluded in John chapter 8, verses 44, and in Revelation chapter 2, verses 9, and 3, verses 9. Yeshua calls the so-called fake Jews the synagogue of Satan. Synagogue also means congregation. So today's technology of genetics, transhumanism, transgenderism, chemical food, water, chemtrails, singularity, etc., all attacks DNA. Every single thing, even frequency, music, every single thing possibly attacks our DNA. That's just a coincidence? No, we have history to prove and show it's not. It's always been a genetic war. Think, man, it's all a war, bro, on every front to stop prophecy. It's always been an attempt to stop prophecy. So today's technology of genetics and all these things I just mentioned all attacks the DNA and therefore targets the 144,000, since the 144,000 will be born of man and is also virgins, pure, not just sexually, but also possibly genetically as well. Why do I say this? Because remember, Noah wasn't just pure in righteousness, but also genetically as well, since the rest of the earth was polluted and destroyed. Genesis chapter 6, verses 13. So don't forget, Noah wasn't just a righteous man um, um, in his character or in keeping the laws or the commandments of the Most High. Noah was also righteous because he was pure genetically. How do we know that? Because the rest of the world was infiltrated by the genetics of the Nephilim. And that's the reason for the flood. So obviously, Noah and his family wasn't just righteous in his conduct. Obviously, they was righteous genetically as well. Man, think about that. Think about that. Um, the rest of the earth was polluted and then destroyed. Genesis 6:13. Right? So the remnant that shall be redeemed and ransomed from the captivity of the Gentiles could possibly have the 144,000 within it. The word remnant means a small surviving group. And the word redeemed means to buy back, repurchase, to free from captivity by payment of ransom. And ransom means to deliver from sin of its penalty, to free from captivity or punishment by paying a price. We know Yahshua paid the price for our freedom by his sacrifice, but also being freed from captivity doesn't just mean freed from physical bondage, but also mental and spiritual bondage, which means the bondage of materialism and consumerism. So, so, uh, that's again a part of the war, or showing that the end of days is like the days of Noah. If you go back and understand why Noah was saved, if you go back and understand that there was a war on the planet from with the fallen ones mixing with the daughters of men, that's genetics, bro. That's not some heavenly mystery type stuff. That's genetics we're talking about, bro. That was a mixing of genes that was going on at that time. Guess what's going on at this time? The same war, bro. The same war that they tried to stop. Who do you think came and found the Messiah? It was the Magi. These was astrologers studying astronomy. Some say from the days of Daniel, and he kept that going on. And actually, that was Daniel's all that money from Babylon that was coming to the Messiah. I don't know. Do your research. But the point is that from the stars, they knew that the Messiah was gonna be born. And at the same time, they were on the other side, they knew too, like, we got no, I'm not. We don't want this king to be born on this planet. Okay, well, there's some more people that needs to be born on this planet, called 144,000. So the same attempt has to take place to make sure that those aren't born. So this is why you have to have all the chemicals and stuff. And this is a war, y'all. Prophecy will continue to be fulfilled. But whatever needs to be done, no, that's the same reason why the Egyptians tried to take out Moses, the same reason why King Herod tried to take out the Messiah, is the same reason why you have all these poisons in the air, is to try to stop that 144,000 being born. Because they feel if they can stop that 144,000 being born, they can stop prophecy. I understand, and this, and like I said, this type of stuff goes in many different ways. I just hit it on this subject because we could go we could go on many other different ways with this. So no, I just hit it on this subject, and I want you to think about how the end of days is like the days of Noah. Because if you go back to the days of Noah and you study that, you will literally see everything that they were doing back then, they're doing now on a scientific, technological, genetic level is what I'm talking about. It's not this just, this get out your head of this heavenly like realm that doesn't, that some people with wings on their backs and no, that's not it, man. We talking about some real stuff here that's still taking place in our days, and this is how you know where we're at in the sequence of time. That's what I want to share with y'all, man. I hope you got a lot out this lesson. There's more that I would love to share. The Most High willing, this will continue. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a great, wonderful day, man. Love y'all, man.